Welcome back to our Honest Talks podcast. If you are listening on Spotify, thank you so much for actually doing it because I'm not sure many people do. But I mean, it doesn't really give us views. So if you are watching on YouTube, then thank you so much because it helps us the most. But I like to make it available for everyone in every platform. If you like to clean your house while you listen to a podcast, then you can listen to us. So today's video is about or podcast episode is about something that I've been thinking about, and I also heard someone say something like this, so I decided that it would be a great subject for us to touch because I think that everyone needs to hear this. We are I'm getting to my 20s now, so this is when the midlife crisis starts. Not midlife, quarter life crisis. I mean, maybe half life, I don't know. I don't know. But what I mean is that you are no longer a teenager. You're now starting your own life. And sometimes that can lead to stress, obviously, because you have to pay your own bills, but you also have not really good idea what you're doing. So that's why we are here to talk about that. I have always thought about this. I haven't even let you talk. Say hi.
Hi again.
But she's here with me. I'm not alone if you're listening. I've always thought about this because people have said, like, how are you supposed to choose your career at 18 when you go to university? But in Portugal is even worse, in my opinion. I think it's worse because you have to choose at 14 technically. Because, for example, I remember my father saying, like, oh, why don't you become an engineer? And I was already 16 or something, and I was like, I cannot become an engineer unless I go back and
start over.
Because at 14 you choose whether you want to go for science, for history and languages, or if you want to go for economics or arts, or if you're lucky enough you get more options than that. But I didn't even get that many options.
No, just those four.
Yeah, usually those four. Sometimes you don't have the arts because if there are not enough people, they will not open the class. So sometimes you're not even fortunate enough to have that.
And then if you choose those ones, people make fun of you, saying you'll be unemployed for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So basically, there's just science and economics.
And humanities.
Well, they also make fun of us.
Oh, they make fun of, yeah.
Yeah, they
there's
say
like
we'll be unemployed.
I mean, there's prejudice against anything, I suppose. But you would say, like, art people, they're gonna be unemployed, and the people that went for history and languages, they were lazy. Seriously, I don't know why is that a thing, but it is a thing, a very much a thing. I'm sure it's still a thing. I've only left college, high school, whatever you want to call it, in 2 years now. So
2019.
Yeah, it's still a thing, I'm sure, because they're like, science is for smart people. If you go for history and languages, which is not easy at all, like I busted myself just to keep up with the history class, and
geography was also pretty difficult.
Yeah, geography, I hated that, so it was extra difficult because I didn't even enjoy studying for it. And then we were learning a new language, so how come, like, we were already learning English, but now we had also to learn Spanish? So how come is it for the lazy and the dumb? I do not agree with that whatsoever, because what they're making is like they make people feel bad about their choices, and that leads to many people ending up going to sciences and not liking it and then giving up.
Yeah, I was
Talk
2 years.
more
I
about
was
that.
2 years in, and I had to go 2 years back. But it was a good thing because I met Jenny.
yeah, I mean, and that's what we're also touching is like many people we knew, they were very afraid of going back. Like, oh, I started this, I'm going to lose a
Yeah.
year, I'm going to lose 2 years of my life if I go back because I've been doing this and it's for no reason. But it's never for no reason, if that makes sense. It's always something that you know more about yourself. Like, it's okay, you're trying to figure yourself out. You're so young, like, we choose at 14, so if you end up going back, you were 15 or 16, and
I was 16.
it's okay if you were not sure at 14 if you liked it or not, because that's so young. How are you supposed to know if you want to go for this or for that at 14? Like,
Yeah,
that's not
you know,
possible.
at the age of 14, I was pretty much good at every subject. So I fell into the pressure of everyone else, and I went to science because I thought, well, that's the only way I'm going to get a job. So I
Because
went
you thought
there.
like you could study good, like you had good grades, so you could keep
Yeah,
up the pace.
Exactly. I thought I could keep up. But then, you know, all of the teenage trouble plus me uh, liking arts a lot more and philosophy, history, languages, you know, I just started developing this thing against maths and everything, especially because I was failing at it and I was trying really hard and I couldn't keep up. And 2 years down the road, the first year I actually did well, like geometry. I did pretty well. I had the best grade in the first year, but then geometry, second year, I had the worst grade of everyone else.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. Like everything started crumbling on me, and I was like, no, 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 I'll go back.
Yeah, because he then moved away from Lisbon into the prairie.
Countryside.
Like pretty much a prairie.
It was pretty good. I liked it. That's where I met you, and students were a bit more like students, not just numbers. They were still a bit like numbers, but well, what can we do?
Yeah, we had a close relationship with our teachers, and I
Yeah,
miss
the teachers
them.
were nice.
I miss them so much.
There's like a psychologist that supposedly helps you with that. You do a couple of tests, and they're like, "Oh, you're good at this. You should go there."
Oh yeah, in year 9.
Yeah. So when you're 14,
they told me to go for tourism, but that's like, I know it was rigged because I mean, I'm not
they
sure
told
if
you to
that's
go to
the name.
tourism. I don't even remember. I think they told me to go to science, and I went. Like I thought, yeah.
Let the dot. Okay.
My mom was also telling me the same. Everyone was telling me I had to, otherwise I would get no job.
Well, your mom is watching this probably, so she'll comment and she'll say.
But then she supported me.
You lying!
she then supported my decision to go back. You know, she was just trying to find me the best thing.
Okay, don't move stuff around. That makes a noise.
Yeah.
But what I mean is that if you're not keeping up, the teachers, most of them, they will not tell you to change. They will tell you to study more, to work harder. You can do this. You just have to work harder. But I mean, some of them, they will tell you like, maybe this is not the place for you.
But that could also sound bad. It could sound as if they were giving up, because the teachers, they can't tell you. Like,
yeah, it sounds better.
They can't tell you, oh, change to another course, because that way it's like the student could feel like they were not believing in him anymore, and you don't know what the student wants.
Exactly.
You don't know what the student wants.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, what if they really like it, but
and
they just can't keep up?
Yeah.
With the pressure in the amount of stuff they have to
you have
study.
To figure out what you want. And the teachers have to help the students figuring out what they want. Yeah.
So no matter if this is happened to you in college or if it happened to you in university, whatever you want to call it, high school, college, and then in university, it's okay if you start your course and then you want to go back. I understand it might be hard if, well, for example, here in the UK, people apply for the student loan, so technically it's not your parents that are paying for it, so that takes a bit of pressure from you, even though you technically paid for those years that you end up not using. But sometimes, especially in Portugal, if you're lucky enough, your parents will pay you the university. And then some people, they feel like they can't go back because it's their parents' money and they do not want to disappoint them. They do not want to waste their money. So they keep pushing until they break sometimes.
Yeah, but your parents, they will always like you. And when they are giving you money to pay your university, it's like they're giving you money to help you find out. I don't think they would expect you to hit right at the first time.
Well, I know some friends that I know they would not
Well, then
be
you
happy.
have bad parents, so kill them. Just kidding.
Oh God, what?
I just like to do this. Like, no one is expecting it. It makes it funny.
And I can't say anything like that deviates from the subject. And
No, you can't say bad things about people we know. That's it. Because they might actually like you a lot, and you have no idea, and then they could be so disappointed.
I never said anything about people I know.
So don't talk about the teachers you didn't like. Just don't.
But that is, like, I understand that's a big issue for many people, but do not be afraid. Because what I mean is, if you end up not liking your course, try a bit. If you you come to the realization that this is not even what I like to do, so why am I doing this? For who am I doing this? Not for yourself anymore. So just stop and think if you're feeling bad because you can't keep up and it's a lot of pressure, or if it's just because you don't like it. Because that's two different things. So if you don't like it, don't... Oh my God, I'm having like burps or something. If you do not like it, do not be afraid to pull the trigger and come out of that course and choose a different one or none at all. That is okay. I don't want to drink water.
Take a sip.
But you just have to figure it out. It doesn't matter if it takes you longer than it should, or there's not really a should. It's like whenever you feel like this is not for you, even if you finish the course, you already have a job and you think, but I'm being paid well, I don't want to go back and have to do it all over again. That's understandable. But also, if you can't see yourself doing that for not for the rest of your life, but that's also another subject that I also wanted to touch. But if you can't see yourself working for that, if it's just, you have to think down the road if that's something you could do for years, at least for some years.
If you can endure, let's say.
Yeah, because there's some jobs that I know I could not do, for the life of me. Even if they were paying me very well, I know I wouldn't do them, which is...
taking care of old people.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I cannot. Like,
Carers
your mother,
work.
she told us many times that is a good job, you should try it.
Be a carer, Jenny.
But
you can't.
She's gonna say something in the comments.
But you can't.
But I can't. I seriously can't. I grew up with my grandparents, and they're out of cuckoo in the cuckoo's nest. I'm sorry. And they just drive you insane. At least mine did. And I don't want to try again with some other elderly people and see if I truly hate it or not. Like, I do not want to do that. That's not something I even want to try a tiny bit.
You don't have patience. You would start slapping them all.
Yeah. I mean, no, what? I was so pissed off sometimes with my grandparents, and I understand they're kind of losing their bits and
sanity.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not blaming them at all, but it takes a toll on your mental health. At least it took on mine, and I would not like to do that, and I would also not like to take care of children. I know that I cannot. I've talked about this in our other podcast about the first job we ever had. I've taken care of children for a summer job, and I know for a fact I do not like it.
That's really the point. So Jenny tried these things, and now she knows.
You can try. Yeah.
So you try the university as well.
Sometimes, like, you cannot just try be an astronaut and just give up, you know? Just imagine. Just imagine, okay? Talk to people that have that job and get their views, and if you can talk to more people, so
make
you
a
get
projection
more people
in your
views.
head.
Yeah, make a projection in your head. Like, tell them to tell you the good and the bad.
Yeah, you need the bad to make.
Yeah, so
And you need the good.
sometimes you have to talk to many people,
both.
realize if that's something you would like to do or not. Some jobs are not amazing jobs. You're not changing the world, and you have to realize you do not have to have an incredible job where you're saving lives for it to be a good job. Sometimes job is all about taking cash home, which is also something that I really wanted to talk about, that a job does not have to be wow, because that's what capitalism wants you to think. Like, you have to choose like a career, like what's your dream job. You don't, but the thing is, you don't have to have a dream job. You can just have a job that pays you. You do not have stress. It's just a chill job. You go in, you go out, and you live your life, and that's okay. To be honest, I would just like to have that job. That kind of job where I just go in, I go out, and I can just live my life, and I have time to do my stuff. I do not have to worry about the bills. Like, that's just what it is. And sometimes if you're trying to move from the 9 to 5, or sometimes it's even worse, you don't even have the 9 to 5, it's just crazy schedules. But if you're trying to move that for like your personal projects like YouTube or whatever it is that you're trying to do on the side, just try to invert the picture and think of the job that pays the bills as a side job and not your project as a side job. Like, your project is the main thing that you love to do, and the other job, you just go in, you go out, and you pay the bills, and that's it. And sometimes it helps when you're stuck in that position where you can't just yet make money or enough money to come out of that job. Sometimes it helps if you just have a different perspective on it. You're not stuck. You will come out at some point, but for this time, this is just like side job just to pay the bills, and then you have your personal projects that you love to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think? I also wanted to talk about the fact that nowadays there is not really a career thing. I think I've touched the subject before, but for example, our parents, I think. Yeah, our parents. All of them, they have a job that they've had for many years, and they'll probably be doing that job until they
retire.
So that is not really a thing that's gonna happen for our generation. Millennials and Gen Z and Gen Alpha and whatever is to come next, I don't think that's going to be a thing. You can already see, especially in millennials, they move jobs a lot, and that is not a bad thing at all. It's good because it challenges you. You work for different companies, maybe you work for yourself, and that is okay. So do not think of choosing a career, choosing a university degree, that it will dictate all of your life. You can change job. Sometimes you have a degree, but that degree can open multiple doors, so you do not have to do this job just because you've been doing it for many years. You can always change. You can always explore other options. You can always go back to the university, even if you are already 40 and you just figured out that you like something else. You still have time to go back and study something else if that's what you want. You don't have to be afraid of doing it. If it's gonna make you happy, then it's worth it. You didn't lose any years by going back. You've actually gained more, because if you think, oh, but I've been working on this for 10 years, so I can't change, because then I'll be losing those years. No, if you keep going, then you're just gonna lose more years, because you're spending those years of your life doing a job that you do not like,
as soon as you realize,
instead of just
get
realizing,
the fuck out.
instead of just realizing and changing, you're just sticking around. So it's gonna make you feel bad. It's gonna make you feel worse and worse and worse.
Like,
so,
it is going to be hard when you change, but like Jenny said, it's gonna be a lot harder if you keep on waiting. So as soon as you realize,
yeah,
get
because
the fuck out.
it's just, I think
Good
the
advice.
best way is to think of yourself like few years, like 10 years down the road. Would you be happy that you made this decision? Like, I think you would, if it, I mean, as in changing your path. 10 years you'd be like, oh, I'm glad I did it. It was hard, but I'm glad I did it. Or you could be 10 years down the road and be like,
it's better to do it than not to do it at all, because then you will just regret not doing it.
And I mean, most people that are watching my videos, they're our age, so it's not like they've been working on this same job for 10 years, because 10 years ago you were still in school. But if by any chance you do not like your university degree and you want to change it, change it. Change it. Don't be afraid. If you want, obviously. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, that's what all I had to say.
When it comes to decisions and you want to do something, think if you would regret not doing it. If you would regret not doing it, then you have to do it. If you would not regret not doing it, then don't do it. So yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. Also, a good thing that I remembered that I was going to suggest is taking gap year or years, because you do not have to go to university right when you turn 18 or when you finish school. You can take gap years. And you can do multiple jobs to cover for your expenses if you can't afford. I mean, it really depends on where you live. Like I've said before, in Portugal, you can't really live off of minimum wage, so that's not really a possibility. But for us here, it is, and I'm still trying to figure stuff out. I'm experimenting and I'm trying different things all at the same time. I'm not exactly sure what I would like to do. I think the more I think about it, the more I realize that what I actually want is to work in multiple passions of mine all at the same time, but I'm not really sure how to do that. So it takes some time to get there, because I love psychology. I love making videos. I love design. And I love editing videos, and I love taking pictures, so I like photography, and I like recording videos, and I love history. I don't know if I said that.
You like piercings as well?
I like piercings as well. So I'm happy that I can be a piercer now as my job. But I can't just pinpoint one thing that I'll be like, this is my job and that's it. I think I would like to have multiple. And it's okay. I'll figure it out. And until then I'm having this job that pays the bills, and I can do these things that I love. And also, it's not really about the careers, but I also was thinking, I don't know if I want to move. I don't know. I mean, it also involves the same kind of problem in people's minds. Sometimes people are our age and they're like, oh, but I'm afraid of living somewhere else because then there's no support. I would be by myself. I don't want to suffer. Basically, like what the human being is always doing is trying to avoid suffering or chasing happiness. I think there's like a philosophical debate about it.
Yeah, there are
but
people who
you obviously
agree and disagree.
Yeah, you obviously never want to be struggling and be unhappy, obviously. So it's understandable that you do not want to move out of your country or move out of your city, be away from parents and friends. And that is okay. But if that's something you would just like to see how it is, sometimes it's worth the shot. And now we're here in the UK, and sometimes I think, oh, I don't want to do this all over again somewhere else.
Yeah.
But then I think, well, maybe in the future I might, As for now, I feel okay here. And it's okay if you don't have all your life figured out for the next 10 years. I don't even have my life figured out for the next one. So it's okay. Right now, I'm like, oh, but what if I don't make plans? Then I'll just be here for the rest of my life, and I would be sad and thinking that maybe I should have just moved out and explored more before I settle down in a place. You can always change your mind, and do not ever think that because you're getting older that it makes you less possible of doing stuff. Oh, it's not because you have children that you can't move countries. I follow multiple YouTubers. They have children and they have lived in many places, and they're not rich at all. They have been working just above, a tiny bit above of minimum wage jobs, just to keep up with the payments and everything else. So you do not have to have a really nice job to do that. And you can move with children, and you can change your whole life at 40. That's okay. It's not a midlife crisis. Well, it can be, but it's also okay if that's what you want to do. Because it's not because you're getting older that it's not worth to change your life and do stuff that would make you happier. You don't have to think, oh, if I were your age, like if I were 20, I've heard so many people say that you're like your grandma's sister. She said that, right?
Oh yeah, she said
that if she were our age, she would just move here as well, right?
Yeah. She kind of regrets not moving to another place.
But I mean, I understand. Like maybe she wished
she has
she
a
had
house
it done.
There as well.
I understand if she wished she had it done before, but if that makes you feel better, like just realize that it's not because you're 40, because you're 50, that you can't do whatever. It's not like the age is stopping you. Of course, it will be harder maybe for you because you're used to having your house, you're used to having certain commodities that you will not have when you move out for another country. But if that's something you really like to do, don't ever think that it's because of your age that you can't do it, or if it's because we have children we can't do it. You can.
It's the same with people who want to play the guitar. They say, oh no, I'm 15, I'm too old to start learning. Because there are people who are like 4 and they're like in North Korea and China.
Well, I think that's more like violin and piano, but sure.
Guitar as well. It reaches all
I never
instruments.
seen a small children playing guitar.
Oh, you haven't seen those North Korean guitarists then?
North Korean?
It's scary.
Okay. But I understand if at some point you're like, well, I do not want to make my children move. I do not want... Okay, the camera just cut off, so I was just saying that you do not ever think that after you marry or after you have a certain age, after you have children, that you can't do anything, because you can. And if you really want to, you can and you will. Because it doesn't make your children happier to stay in one place their whole life. Like I have. I didn't even go on holiday anywhere. I stayed in my little prairie in like for my whole life, and I sometimes wished my parents moved around a lot more.
I moved around too much, and I never had friends. I mean, I have 1, 2.
And
one.
I had like I don't know, maybe 2 friends or 3.
Yeah.
And I was unhappy, so I
was always losing
I wanted
my friends.
to change schools specifically for the reason, the fact that I would not have any friends in my class. I only had a couple that were in other class because of the whole science and history thing that you have to choose, so you end up obviously being in different classes. And my father was not happy about it because then I would have to start paying the bus and everything. But this is one of these times where I made this choice where I realized that I would be really unhappy if I didn't make the choice of choosing a different school, and it was not easy. I did not know anybody.
Thanks to that, we met each other. So
yeah, like I didn't know anybody, and I thought, well, it's going to be probably hard to make friends because I was used to not really being friends, but I knew these people from when I was like 4 years old. So I knew the same people all throughout my life. So it was obviously hard to think that I would be with different people that I've never seen in my life. They did not know me at all. But that's also a good thing. Because if you were stupid when you were younger, then you can present yourself as a better person now. And people don't have the images and the memories of the stupid things you've done before. So that's also a good thing. You can start over. You can start fresh, start new.
As of
blank page.
As of me, I use that as a coping mechanism. I couldn't stay in the same school for longer than 2 years. I would not get along with anyone, and then I would just move.
Yeah, because you could. Like you were in Lisbon, there are like 50 different schools.
But that's when I started changing, like by my own choice. Actually, I only changed once by my own choice, to be honest. It was just
What, like once. Your personality, the way you talk to people or something?
No, I only changed schools because I've wanted to once.
Oh, okay.
And it was.
So that's not so bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, obviously,
the other times
it really depends on you. Some people like to have stability.
Actually, twice, because the last time, but it wasn't my choice because I was moving to the countryside, so I moved anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, but that's not your choice.
Yeah, it wasn't, but I wanted.
Mother's choice.
But I wanted to.
Yeah. But what I mean is that you just have to figure yourself out, and don't be afraid. Sometimes it takes years, and until then, it's okay. If you're still figuring yourself out, do not let people tell you, well, you have to choose. You have to, well, sometimes you, like, at 14, we had to choose something. But if you end up not liking it, then don't be afraid. You can always go back. There's always that possibility. And it's never too late, guys. So don't ever feel like you've wasted your time, you've wasted your years, your money. It's okay. You will always learn something, and you are growing as a person. You're figuring yourself out. I still feel like I've said this so many times. But it's really good that you do that. So I don't know where he went, but I was just going to finish the video.
I know, that's why I brought this.
Oh, okay.
So we need some help, guys. We need to reach 1,000 subscribers. Jenny gets no money from these videos, and she's been doing them for over a year. So if you could subscribe and activate the bell icon so you could watch our videos when they come out.
Yeah. And if
we also need the hours.
Yeah, we also need the watch time, which is 4,000 hours. That's crazy.
And if you've watched it until the end, I think you're really interested. So
yes,
why not?
Thank you. Fleshy's mom, she probably the only one. So hey. Also leave a like, it really helps, and comment something about whatever. You can spam the comments, it's fine. I do that with multiple podcasts I watch. I'll be like commenting every aspect of the podcast episode. That's okay. I will love to answer them all. So please tell me everything you thought about this, your thoughts, and I will also answer them. And leave a like so it helps us reach more people. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.